It is rare to see a community turn against the game so swiftly and so viciously, but Escape from Tarkov has pissed off their own community in a way that, yeah, it makes sense why the response is the way it is, particularly concerning the Unheard Edition. You can see from the likes to dislikes ratio of this trailer how overwhelmingly negative this has been received. This edition that is $250 contains pay-to-win elements combined with this offline mode that they're locking behind this $250 edition. And this is despite the fact that a previous edition of the game, known as the Edge of Darkness edition, promised that all future subsequent DLCs would be free to access to those who purchase this $150 edition. And now they're coming out with a $250 edition that has features and pay-to-win elements that are locked to those people who were promised that all subsequent DLCs would be free to access. And make no mistake, there's no misunderstanding here. Straight up, the Escape from Tarkov official Twitter page at one point tweeted, "You do not need to buy anything at any stage. If you have Edge of Darkness, you do not even pay for DLCs in the future. You're all in for it all coming." It's as clear as it gets. They straight up said that if you buy this $150 edition, everything from here on out you will get, and that's a promise that they just decided not to keep. They even went as far as changing the wording of past posts to try to get away with this. You can see right here that previously it said that you'll get free access to all subsequent DLC, and now it says free access to all subsequent DLC, such as Escape from Tarkov Arena. So now they're being very specific about what you'll get for free, which was not the case before. And then when all of this blew up in their faces, they try to do some damage control with the following Reddit post, where they backpedaled a little bit by giving those who purchased Edge of Darkness access to offline PvE for 6 months. But that's just temporary access. It still does not fulfill the original promise. And on top of that, they offered high priority matching for Edge of Darkness owners for 6 months, which suggests that those who spend $250 will get an advantage in matchmaking. So Edge of Darkness owners don't even gain access to the fast lane as far as matchmaking is concerned. And then they issued a third statement after more backlash came their way, where they insisted still that the PvE game mode is not DLC. DLC, to their understanding, is the major additions to the game, including various functionality and content that are released after the official release of the game as a themed DLC pack. Who gave you the right to redefine what DLC is? The offline PvE mode did not exist before. It is new content that's being added later with a patch. It's content that you download, therefore it is downloadable content. The fact that they're trying to circumvent the promise of free access to all subsequent DLCs by redefining what DLC is and giving certain content the DLC label is utterly absurd. Now, they claim right here that the reason they can't give everyone access to the offline PvE mode is because of their server infrastructure and server capacity and just lacking the required amount of resources for this. And so they made the counter offer of giving Edge of Darkness owners the offline PvE mode, but only after the game officially launches, after it goes 1.0. Keep in mind, the game has been in beta for like 7 years now, but we don't know when the game is launching, and it still ultimately does not fulfill the original promise of Edge of Darkness owners getting access to all subsequent DLC. They also try to offer discounts for upgrading to the Unheard Edition and the like, but this is just damage control, not a complete walkback of what shouldn't be. So widespread has this controversy become that other developers have chimed in to essentially poke fun at this situation. So Helldivers 2, for example, tweeted the following as all of this went down: "Be sure to check out the deals in the acquisition center today. With prices so low, they're practically unheard of." And the cheekiness of pricing the CM21 Trench Paramedic for only 250 SC. Yeah, very clear what they're doing here. The DayZ developers put up this joke listing for a DayZ starter loot bundle that includes an apple, some bandages, and a glow stick. Mark Spanel, the CEO of Interactive Bohemian, the company behind DayZ, tweeted, "Okay, this was quick, as our $250 DayZ starter loot bundle is sold out. Should we introduce paid lockers and Armor Reforger next?" And yeah, this listing shows that the product is sold out. It was always sold out. Nobody could actually buy this product. It is a joke listing. But yeah, they're not holding back in their reference to the controversy. And then you've got Escape from Tarkov competitors like Arena Breakout Infinite, which took this opportunity to essentially try to get people who have decided to no longer play Tarkov to play this game instead, tweeting, quote, taking in all homeless shooter-looter with a big wave goodbye to Tarkov today. We're here to welcome you to Kimona. Escape from Tarkov developer Battlestate Games just dug their hole deeper by retweeting this with the message, have a nice 20-minute adventure in the blatant plagiarist game in and out. So accusing this developer of plagiarism when all this developer did was make a game of a similar genre. They got community noted saying that you can't say something is plagiarized unless you can prove that they took assets from your game and the like. But if it's just a similar category or genre of game, then that's not plagiarism. That's just somebody making a game in that genre. So yeah, suffice to say that the pushback and backlash was very intense, quite vicious and merciless, and people were just not willing to compromise on this topic, which finally led to Nikita Buyanov issuing the following statement where he completely backpedals on the paywalling of the offline PvE mode, though there are still some caveats. Here's what that message reads like. Let me continue my feedback on the current situation. First of all, I would like to say that I'm very sorry that fans and the game community in general are experiencing these feelings. So this is an attempt at an apology, but the wording of this could not be any worse. Saying, sorry I fucked up is usually acceptable. Saying, I'm sorry you feel this way comes across as I'm not actually sorry for my actions. I'm just sorry that I got caught trying to pull this bullshit and that you feel that you were wronged, but it is not admitting any sort of guilt. It is not admitting that the individual did something wrong. It's being sorry for people's feelings, not for their actions. So that already is going very poorly, and people are having a hard time accepting this apology. This statement continues, unfortunately, I somehow did not foresee the fact of such a reaction, and now I have drawn conclusions for my future decisions. The fact that Nikita didn't have the foresight to determine that a second edition of the game that is $100 more expensive than the previous one at $250, that paywalls, pay-to-win elements, and modes, and screws over the people who bought the $150 edition that were promised content like this for free, instead being made to spend another $250 on a new edition to gain access to these pay-to-win elements and features and some, things like the new game mode. The lack of foresight there is incredible. If no part of this individual felt like this could be wrong and could completely blow up in their faces, then I cannot say I'm entirely optimistic about future updates and monetization endeavors if this is the level of tone deafness that is on hand. Now, Nikita did decide to backtrack on some things and decide to make some changes on this scheme, stating, quote, now we'll briefly summarize the main points. Number one, about offline PvE access, we decided to just open it for Edge of Darkness owners for free, but we will do it in waves. As I said before, we don't have server capacity right now. We'll start this process as soon as possible. So at the very least, they are backtracking on the paywalling aspect of this mode, but doing so in waves and offering no details as to how that will be done, that's got people concerned. How long will certain purchasers have to wait to gain access to this mode that they should be getting access to, because that was what was promised? From there, we have number two. We also decided that we will add mod support for PvE mode after release of the game. Mod support is certainly not a bad thing. That's a plus. Number three, about the Unheard Edition, we will not remove it. We want to keep the option for those who want to support the game more, but we'll balance items, perks in this edition, as well as we will provide more rewards for those who upgraded with the old price. Some people are peeved that they have the audacity to sell this Unheard Edition at all, or not reduce the price for it at least, or offer some kind of recompense for this situation. And then we have number four, new Edge of Darkness perks will be balanced too. We'll remove prioritized matching option to keep everyone in the same spot. So that fast lane that they introduced when they proposed high priority matching for Edge of Darkness owners for only 6 months, Apparently, that's going to be completely vanquished. The statement continues, and we'll add more unique stuff to highlight the Edge of Darkness version in general. We'll provide the final list of the new Edge of Darkness perks ASAP. And then finally, number 5, we continue to work on patches, new content, events, and the game release itself, no matter what. Nikita's message finally concludes with, thank you for your time, love, and hate, and thank you for your increased attention to the current situation. Now, while Nikita has backpedaled on certain aspects of the scheme, albeit with some caveats here and there, the fact remains that some people are still highlighting that not all future DLC is being given to Edge of Darkness owners. So one of the top comments and responses reads, you've still not addressed the fact that you're planning to release DLC for the game that was not going to be delivered to Edge of Darkness owners. Please confirm that Edge of Darkness owners will receive all content for the game in the future as promised when we purchase the product. As in, if we have already purchased Edge of Darkness, we should be getting everything that the Unheard Edition offers. Like, it's great that they're now opening up the offline PvE to everyone and that they're giving Edge of Darkness owners certain perks. But again, the promise was all subsequent DLCs will be freely accessible, and it still feels like Unheard Edition has certain perks that are unique to that edition that Edge of Darkness owners will be paywalled off of. Now, there are some initial responses that express positivity about this. Some people saying that this is a huge step in the right direction, not quite there, but massive strides in the right direction, massive improvements, still not perfect, so on and so forth. Some people are expressing positivity, but as time passed, people began to express their dissatisfaction at aspects of this apology and this backpedaling, such as the fact that it was kind of a non-apology apology, saying, I'm sorry you feel that way, instead of I'm sorry for my actions. This right here is from the Escape from Tarkov subreddit, and this is one of the top posts from the last few days right now. Others feel as though the trust is no longer there, that the betrayal was too great, and that the bridge has already been burned, so some folks are posting images of them uninstalling Escape from Tarkov, and that's garnering a lot of likes. I don't know if this will actually lead to a mass exodus of players, but some people are just straight up fed up and uninstalling the game. Some are insisting that people should not fall for this apology and that forgiveness has not been earned, highlighting things like how they changed their site to lie to you, how they didn't give a shit about you in Nikita's secret interview, how they told you, I'm sorry you feel like we hurt you, instead of saying, we're sorry we messed up, how they made their game blatantly pay to win, lied to Edge of Darkness owners, and redefined what DLC means. Some folks are basically saying, stand your ground and make sure that they backpedal on this 100% so that we don't give them any leeway in terms of the promises that they're breaking. Here's somebody else saying how this is still not okay despite the apology and the backpedaling, highlighting how Edge of Darkness owners and purchasers were screwed over, how there's still pay-to-win elements, the fact that they're charging $250 for a new edition for a game that's not even out, basically $3.5 $70 AAA games worth of money. And then there are other unfortunate discoveries, like the unique in-game weapon that they showed in the Unheard Edition's trailer. I can actually show you in the trailer right now the item in question. It says right here, receive unique gear, including this specific knife, which turns out wasn't even designed by the developers, but is rather an asset from an asset store. Given the premium price point of $250 that they're charging for this edition, you'd think that at the very least, the unique in-game weapons would be actually, unique and developed in-house instead of just being asset flipped. It's also worth noting that this $250 edition is being announced weeks after the developers also announced microtransactions to let players get their hands on additional space in the player's out-of-rate stash and clothing options previously earned through in-game achievement. The monetization of this game has already been pretty aggressive. The fact that they're layering this edition that's $250 that screws over previous edition buyers on top of that, really not a good look. And then PC Gamer highlights here that they are more concerned about not the offline PvE mode, but rather the pay-to-win elements. The fact that if you have deep pockets, you'll be rewarded with literal deeper pockets in the game, which benefits you, referring to things like the enhanced stash size, as well as the expanded PMC pockets, so on and so forth, which do grant you a significant advantage in an extraction shooter. The summary that PC Gamer provided was that players who pay $250 will face fewer consequences, find the game generally easier, and be at an unmeasurable advantage over those players who have merely forked out $50 or even $150 for the game. So sure, Nikita recently backpedaled on things like PvE and things like high priority matchmaking, but those pay-to-win elements still persist in this $250 edition. If you get that $250 edition, the fact still remains that you will have a gameplay advantage, which is why people are saying that despite the recent apology that's more of a non-apology and the backpedaling on certain aspects, this is still not okay. And then to top it all off, we have the situation going on with Evasion GG, the first Escape from Tarkov esports team and a host of more than 200 tournaments for the game. Evasion GG has recently decided to speak out against the developers of Tarkov for essentially mistreatment, tweeting the following: "We have produced over 200 Tarkov shows, but if you've wondered why we haven't been as active as we once were, it's because we'll not be railroaded into doing events that we don't believe in. What happened to the Tarkov community over the past week is what's been happening to us for the last 2 years dealing with BSG. Promises not kept, gaslighting, event cancellations, control issues, blatant nepotism, all while wasting our time, money, and efforts. This year we found out how terribly they've been treating the smaller event orgs as well. Now this treatment has spread to the player base. We have held back sharing this information, but seeing how the community was treated as a whole recently was too much. We will not create Tarkov events until we see things truly change." That's a hell of a stance to make. You want to know how Escape from Tarkov's developer responded? With a ban. So this right here is Sigma, who is the owner of Evasion GG, who tweeted, "Woke up this morning to being booted from the Tarkov emissary channels on Telegram. No direct messages, so I'm not surprised. I was aware of the risk I took speaking out about how Evasion GG has been treated." And this is a situation that's already spreading within the community. On Reddit, people are posting about how the owner of Evasion GG got booted from emissary program after speaking out about their treatment from Battlestate Games. And keep in mind that silencing or punishing critics is nothing new for the Escape from Tarkov developers from Nikita. Recall that back in December of 2018, Battlestate Games tried to silence Escape from Tarkov critics by issuing unfair and frankly unlawful DMCA takedowns, claiming misinformation. So it's hardly surprising that Nikita and Battlestate Games' first reaction to this critique wasn't to reach out to essentially try to mend bridges, but rather just double down on burning them. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the latest on the Escape from Tarkov situation. The non-apology really didn't help, and they haven't backpedaled on enough for the community to feel forgiving. And then this whole situation with Evasion GG, that just burns goodwill even further. So the situation is still pretty bleak for Battlestate Games, and there's a lot they have to do to mend bridges, if they even intend to mend bridges, or if they just intend to double down on their shady antics. I suppose only time will tell. In the meantime, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on the current Escape from Tarkov situation and what you think they have to do to earn some forgiveness and earn some goodwill. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.